day weekend. Me and my husband went camping in Michigan. We left Friday night and we just drove to Pentwater. We stopped at Chick-fil-A for dinner, and it wasn't a very far drive from where I live, so we only drove a couple of hours until we got to Mears State Park, which is where we camped the first night. By the time we got there, the sun was already setting, and then by the time we got around to setting up the tent, the sun had already set, so we didn't really have a lot of time to do much except just go for a walk on the beach and have a campfire. It was a super pretty sunset, as you can see, and then after that we just set up our bedding, and my dogs fought on our air mattress because they like goofing off. And then the next morning we just walked around the campground a little bit and went into Pentwater and got some coffee, just because when we camp we don't really bring a lot of food with us. We don't cook or anything. We mostly eat out. And I just got coffee at this place called Green Isaac's. I had never been there before. It was pretty alright, but they didn't have almond milk, which was kind of annoying for me. And then after that we went to Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, which I always love coming here because it's just so pretty and the dunes are so tall. If you haven't been, you definitely need to check it out. It's going to be worth your time. And this is the dune climb. We didn't climb up it because dogs are not allowed to climb up the dune. And then after that we did the scenic drive, which leads to the Overlook area, which I would say is the most popular part of Sleeping Bear Dunes. It's where the dunes are the tallest, I believe, and it has this like little boardwalk that goes out kind of up to the edge and you can look out. And we didn't go down just because we didn't really have enough time, but I have been down there before. It's really high up, so you have to go a long way down and then you have to come back up. And if you're not like physically able, it's like a really big deal if you have to get rescued. I think they charge you a lot of money, so I don't recommend it unless you're super fit, but it's definitely worth it if you can handle it because it's really pretty down there and the water is super clear. This is one of my favorite parts of Michigan. I just feel like it's one of the prettiest areas and there's a lot to do right here. I went in one of the gift shops by the dune climb and I decided to get a few things just because I wanted to support the park and I thought it'd be fun to have these things. I just got 2 stickers, a refrigerator magnet, and a Christmas ornament. And then by this time we were super hungry, so we decided to drive into the town of Glen Arbor, which is a really small town that has a bunch of restaurants and shops. It's super cute and I always like coming here. They have a really big Cherry Republic, which if you haven't been, you definitely need to come. Everything they have is like cherry flavored and has cherries in it, Michigan cherries. And this is where we got lunch. They have a new restaurant. I don't know how new it is, but we've never been before, but they had food there and it was really good. And then we continued driving on. We stopped at Charlevoix, another town that I really like. We just quickly walked to one of the little beaches down this canal area, which is like right downtown. The dogs really needed a break from riding in the car, so we just wanted to stop really quickly. And then after this we came to the Mackinac Bridge, which is a super long bridge that goes across the Straits of Mackinac, and it's $4 to cross. And after that we went in this little shop that was right over the bridge and got some fudge and a pasty because the Upper Peninsula is known for them and I'd never tried one. And then at this point we're officially in the Upper Peninsula. We went straight to our campground, which was at Muskallonge Lake State Park. We just had a fire that night, set up in the dark, and then the next morning we woke up to this view on the water. This campground was pretty nice, but it did have a lot of goose poop, which was kind of gross, and my dogs kept eating it, so it was really annoying. And then we just left, and then we went straight to Glen Falls State Park. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's this really big waterfall at a state park. I had never been here before, and it was really cool. I'm definitely glad that I came. And then after that was lunchtime, so we got some whitefish at the Wheelhouse Diner. It was pretty good. And then after that, we went to Sable Dunes. We went to the log slide Overlook. That's where this is. It's kind of hard to figure out on the map and the signs because there's not a lot of cell service in the Upper Peninsula. And those are just really tall dunes, kind of like Sleeping Bear dunes. And then we went to Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. I think Sable might technically be part of that park, but I'm not 100% sure. And all of these flowers are just between the parking lot and the overlook at the Upper Overlook. This is my second time here, but both times I didn't get to go kayaking, and I really want to come back and go kayaking in Lake Superior. It's kind of complicated because you have to take a lesson, I think, because the water's so cold here. And then this waterfall is just at the visitor center. You walk a short trail from the parking lot. And then we stopped in Marquette for dinner. We didn't have a lot of time and we didn't really know what to eat, so we ended up just going to Domino's and picking up a pizza. And then while we were waiting for the pizza to cook, we walked to the marina and we went to this park and just kind of let the dogs run around, and they had a bunch of fun. Once we got the pizza, we just took it to Presque Park, which is a really nice park in Marquette. You can do cliff jumping and stuff, which we didn't do this time, but we did do last time. The squirrel really wanted our pizza. And after that, we just kept driving. We stopped to look at the sunset in the park. It was really pretty. Then as we were driving to Baraga State Park, we saw this moose on the side of the road, and I've been wanting to see a moose for years and years, so I was super excited that we actually got to see one. And this was probably my favorite campground just because it was really peaceful and it was on the water. It was just really nice. The next morning, we went and got coffee at this food truck called Camp Coffee Company, and it was super delicious. And this is Sandpoint Lighthouse, which is where we went next. I wanted to stop at a lot of lighthouses on this trip just because I thought it'd be really fun to go to as many lighthouses as I possibly can in my lifetime in Michigan, because if you didn't know, Michigan has the most lighthouses of any state in the United States. After that, we drove to Houghton, which is up the peninsula, and we stopped at Chicago Beefs, which is a roast beef place. We got sandwiches. It was actually really hard to find food because this was Memorial Day and pretty much everything was closed. We really didn't expect it. And then we went to Hungarian Falls. I actually stayed in the car because I wanted to stay with the dogs. There was a bunch of mosquitoes and I just really didn't want to hike. Because right before this, a black bear ran in front of the road, right in front of us, so I was kind of scared that a bear would come out while we were hiking. And then this is Eagle Harbor Lighthouse, which was a really nice lighthouse. It's just one of the many really pretty lighthouses in Michigan, and honestly, I don't really know what to say because there's just so many lighthouses, you kind of run out of things to say. this was just a really nice spot that we stopped along the road. We just pulled off the road and kind of looked out. There was a path where you could go down, but we didn't really have time, and I didn't want to take the dogs down because it was a pretty steep hill, but the water was really pretty. And then we drove to Astor Shipwreck Park. There's also a lighthouse out there, but I don't think you can visit it because it didn't say that you could on Google. And then we came to the town of Copper Harbor, which was the furthest north that we're going, and we got dinner at this food truck. I got pizza, and then my husband got a Chicago-style hot dog. And then we drove up Brockway Mountain. It's a really tall mountain where you can drive to the top and basically just get like a 360 view of everything. You can see the lake and you can see lots of trees and some other lakes. It's really pretty. I honestly didn't even know that the mountains were this tall in Michigan. After this, we set up our tent at our campsite, which was at Wilkins State Park. And our site is right on the water, so it was a really pretty view. You can bring a kayak or a canoe with you and bring it out on the water. We unfortunately didn't have one, but it was still really pretty. This was my other favorite campground that we stayed at out of the 4. I really liked this one. I felt like it was very secluded and clean, and there's a lot to do. It's just really nice. And after this, we walked back to Astor Shipwreck Park, which is the beach that we were at earlier in the day for sunset, and it's really close to the campground, so we were able to just walk there. And then once it got dark, we made a fire and made some s'mores, and then we went to bed. And the next morning, we got coffee. We stopped at Cyberia Cafe in Houghton. We were going back south because we were going home this day. And then we got barbecue for lunch at a place in Wisconsin. I don't remember the name of it, but we drove down the west side of Lake Michigan, so we went through Milwaukee and Chicago, and we stopped at the Mars Cheese Castle to get some cheese and some ice cream. And that's all. Thank you for watching.